All right, thank you guys so much for joining for, I think this is either the third or the fourth episode. I know it's like way too early to be losing track of what episode we're on here, but I'm super excited to get into this. I have Say Park here, another EV YouTuber who I also just found out is a camera nerd as well. I say that lovingly, of course, and I'm super excited to chat with him today. We'll talk a little bit about the Lightning and maybe just dive into a little, it'll be hard not to talk cameras with him with all the gear I see in the background. I got to pick his brain. So first of all, thank you so much for taking some time to join me. And I don't know, could you just kind of do a quick intro for those of the people here who might have not seen you yet?
Sure. Hey, Larry, how's it going? So my name is Say Park. So I have a videography YouTube channel, and I go by that name for that channel. But yeah, recently I started a second channel because I ordered the Ford F-150 Lightning, and I thought it'd be a really cool topic to talk about. So yeah, representing Sweater over there with Larry. So yeah, I have two channels right now, and that's pretty much like 85% of my job. So technically I'm a YouTuber because my other channel, that's how I make my living mostly. And I'm a videographer on the side. So yeah, and then before all that, I did IT for 9 years. So that's my background.
Man, well, there it is. So, but full-time camera life, videographer, that's your life passion. Like if you had to, what do you write on the tax returns? Like camera videographer?
Oh man, it's so hard.
I know. This is my first year having to do
YouTuber, and they're like, what are you? So everything videographer. I think I usually write cinematographer because videographer is like,
no, that sounds cooler.
The guy with the camcorder, you know?
You're right. Oh man, that makes total sense. Yeah, that's fun. But it's awesome that it's like your full-time thing, and I feel it's cool that I got to find you through what was your smaller channel in a lot of ways. Like, and not that it's like small or anything, but like compared to your other one, right? So I didn't even know you had this whole other one, which is also another huge passion of mine. So it was like, wow, I got to talk to this guy. So it was really cool to stumble upon, and I'm just happy you're here. So with all that said, I do want to ask, what led to this jump into EVs? Is this your first EV? Of course, you just mentioned you have your, I also want to talk about your whole like pre-order process, because you're one of the lucky ones who's getting a Lightning. So we'll talk about that. But what led you into this EV world, and is it your first electric vehicle, the Lightning?
So I would say what drew me mostly into it, because I'm definitely a F-150 fanboy.
Okay.
only because I had 3 F-150 in my life, and starting in 2014, yeah, it was my first. No, 2013 was my first F-150, and I bought one since then, and I switched it out all the way through. And I feel like now was like the natural evolution of getting the next F-150 that fits for me. And it's so hard to explain, Larry, because I think you understand a little bit too, because a lot of people on my channel ask, like, why are you getting this truck, dude? Right? It's like so early. You're probably going to have problems. You have to go through all these things and pain of ordering one. Like, why are you ordering it? And I think half of that answer really is my passion of documenting things and this YouTube channel, right?
Sure.
And that's a huge part of it. If it wasn't for that, I don't know if I would jump into EV that fast. I might have held out a little bit longer and studying it a little bit more. But the fact that it's such a great forefront right now of a mass-produced truck on EV, I thought it was a really cool opportunity to jump in and being able to document on my YouTube channel and help other people out.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer, and also something, you're absolutely right. That's something I hear with basically everything of my life. We must be similar in that. Like, even just, I don't know, it's probably a bad habit of mine, but like any new, somewhat new technology that I see that looks anything interesting, I gotta at least learn everything about it. I'll watch 1,000 videos just to, I see your gimbals in the background. It reminds me of like, do you know what the Osmo Pocket is? You got it, right? Yeah. So when that thing came out, I was just like, oh, it's genius. How come no one's ever thought of this? So like, I bought one of those like the day it came out, just for no reason, just because I wanted one. Like things like like that, I'm always like, oh, anything new. I don't always buy it because obviously that'd be insane, but I definitely love to like at least learn about it. And you're right, it's the same thing with this vehicle. So you were day one reservation. You had to be, right? Is that the case?
Yeah. So I'm very used to pre-ordering cameras, right? It's such like, especially nowadays, like soon as it drops, like if you're not online, like hitting that refresh button and getting one, you ain't getting that camera for like a year. So I was very used to that. So I was watching live stream from Ford thing, and literally when it opened up, I just ordered it. I think I was technically like 10 minutes late. But still, like it was that same night. And I chose my dealership carefully. Obviously, I chose one that's a little bit further away. It's kind of out in the boondocks. And I was lucky enough that I wasn't the first person to get the email to convert, but I was the first person for that dealership to order. So I was their first, and literally they were trying to figure things out as they're doing it too. So yeah, I guess I'm lucky in that sense.
So do you know the info at your dealership, like how many they got total, or you were first in line there, which is cool, but
I think if I can recall, I only know because I made a video about it, right? So otherwise I'd be like, I think it was like 95 orders received.
Wow.
I think. I could be wrong. I might be all coupled.
Wait, so pre-orders?
I was actually surprised.
95 pre-orders?
Yeah, so they invited 95 people on that dealership to order. I don't know if they all converted.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Whoa. I mean, that's crazy. I don't think my dealership got one.
Yeah, if you want to double check, you have to watch my first video.
Sure.
I explained everything on there because I was literally just spitting out everything that my dealership was telling me. And then this is the part of documentation, right? So whenever I'm not sure about something, I just go back to my video and double check. But I was actually surprised they do have a lot of interest in this area because I thought I picked that dealership. It was far enough that they're not going to get that much interest. But I don't know how many converted to actual order. So they had that many people designated on that dealership. And I think initially I was surprised, like I was the first one because I wasn't wave one, I was wave two.
Gotcha. And I totally get what you're saying now. It all makes sense. You're probably right.
Maybe.
No, I get it.
You're the info guy there.
Well, I thought you were saying you got like 95 orders in, like people, like they got 95 trucks.
No, I think they had 95. If I phrase it correctly, I think they had 95 people interested.
There you go.
And that's how many people they sent out emails for.
Zoom calls.
In that dealership. They had that many people designated that as a dealership.
Okay.
That
makes total sense. I screwed that up. Yeah. Anyone watching this is like, Larry, shut up. Like, what does he like? Everyone's like,
no, it's good to check. I'm glad you're checking me because this is the hardest part about being live on a lot of the camera stuff too. Like you literally have to like just make sure it's right.
Do you do a lot of live ones?
When you edit, I don't know how many times you re-edit. A lot of times I'll say something and I try to rewatch my videos like at least like 10 times before uploading it, right? And then you catch something wrong, you're like, oh, dang it. Me dressed up in the same exact clothes.
Man, I am really bad at that just because I used to be really good. And I don't know if I'm cocky or honestly, I just want to turn them around fast because I've got a real job outside of this plus baby. So I'm like,
yeah,
dude, just 2 days ago, I uploaded a video with no audio. So obviously I need to do a little bit better job at that.
I missed that one.
Well, I got it down rather quick. I appreciate the audience because all of a sudden I'm like, oh, wow, this must be doing well. I got like 5 comments in like a minute or something. And it's all just no audio, no sound, Larry, no sound. I'm like, shoot. So I scrambled and got it down. Oh, yeah. Okay, back on track. So you have like a date, right? Where are you at in the journey overall? So you have like a build date?
Yeah, this is kind of cool because people will get Larry exclusive of my stat here because I don't turn around and pump out videos as fast as you can. So I'm probably going to end up making this video next week.
You can too if you don't watch it 10 times.
True, yeah. So This one's fresh. Like I just talked to the dealer, so this one's fresh. So it's weird that my order process was so different than a lot of people. So I had some kind of impression in the beginning that it would be to my advantage if I go to the dealership and order. So as soon as I got that email saying, hey, you can order your F-150, I just drove to my dealership and I was like, yeah, let's order. Most people, I think, just ordered it online and then they dealt with the dealership after. So if you go that route online, you can see the status, right? Like it'll tell you like, hey, your vehicle's scheduled for this production date. I can't see anything online for me. So yeah, it's bad. So I'm gonna advise people if the online system is still the same for the next year model, it's kind of to your advantage in a sense that you can see the status better if you order online and deal with the dealership after. So anyways, so I called my dealership up and I was like, hey, I can't see anything. Can you tell me what's going on? So they finally gave me my date for the production as a May 30th production date, which it's a little bit later than the time that I order. Most people order around my timing. Their date's a little bit earlier.
Interesting. How much more?
XLT. I think the earliest one I saw on forum was like early May.
Okay. Yeah, I've only seen May dates, right? I think. Maybe a couple early Aprils from like mannequin orders, right. But yeah.
So I also noticed that people who are getting like super early dates are also like Lariat models. I think they're purposely making Lariats first. I think
that's a safe. It's a safe guess. It's a safe guess.
So yeah, I finally got my production date. So May 30th. That's actually I thought it was gonna be later. In fact, if that's their safe bet, it could be earlier. I don't know how, because whenever I go to like auto shows and ask, they always seem so optimistic about the production. They're like, oh yeah, man, it's gonna be in April.
Wow. Okay.
Right. So that's the dates I'm hearing, and then obviously they're gonna prioritize some level of like they need to get some platinum out there probably sooner too. So I'm guessing hopefully sometime in June I'll get my vehicle. But it's one of those things there. You see all these things on the news and you look at it and you're like, wow, they're literally running out of chips. Yeah. And they're so desperate. They're like, telling customers, hey, if you want to get your vehicle doesn't have climate control. And you see all these Broncos sitting on the lot and you think to yourself like, yeah, unless they like super prioritize Lightning, we could have some delays, right?
Yeah.
So I have that. And then I also, not to knock any dealership, I just haven't had great experiences at dealerships. No one has. I just don't have a choice in this matter. And not all dealerships are bad. There's some great dealerships out there. I see them online and all the time, but it just, they would not take my deposit. I was so surprised. I'm usually used to presenting money to dealership and they're like, yes. They refused my deposit.
What happened there?
So at first, the person I was talking to, they were like, hey, how are you paying for your deposit? I was like, I'll pay on my credit card. He goes away. I see him talking to the manager back and forth, looks me over. He comes back and it's like, great news. You don't have to make a deposit. And of course, and this is the part I feel horrible because my dealership experience in the past basically gave me a red flag right there, right? And the fact that if they don't take the deposit and they ordered it for me, in my head, one of the scenario is possibly the dealership basically saying, hey, by the way, your vehicle is now $30,000 over MSRP. And I would basically back out at that point, and guess what? Easy paperwork for them. Like no deposit, nothing. They can just take that vehicle, sell it.
Exactly.
But they have I was the first one to order for them, so this is like high value for them. Again, this is like my
you're being cautious. Yeah, you're it's hard cautious. Not to be, right?
And you have to be. I think everyone almost have to, knowing that not all dealerships gonna play by the book. So again, there's some great dealerships out there, but again, I purposely don't mention my dealership on my video because I don't know, right? I don't know for 100% whether they're going to go that route or different. It could be a great experience, Larry, in which case I'll promote the heck out of them. But until that time, I've been trying to keep some privacy for the
I think it's a good move.
People always ask me like, hey, where you get that, you know?
Yeah, I think I might have said mine in a very early video, but I've kind of done the same thing, because they'll do one thing where it's like, oh, cool, I'm back in, like everything's great. And then like they'll just, I don't know, not talk to me for a month or something. I'm like, well, what's going on? So it's hard to, I don't know. But what you said, I've actually filmed this video. I haven't released it yet though. So it will be out by the time people are watching this. So that's why I'm bringing it up. But there's this website my friend sent me, and you might have even heard of it. I think it's called markups.org. Have you heard of this? So I'm doing like a pretty elaborate video that has to do with, first of all, so they're doing exactly what you're saying, right? So some dealers are literally like calling people the next day and saying like, oh, hey, even after they make their order online or at the dealer, they'll say, everything was fine with your order, but by the way, we're charging you an extra 10K. And they're doing that to either scare them off so they get an extra Lightning on the lot, or to, well, make 10K, right? So it's really, I don't know, it's so shady. And then there's this like independent person, I don't know who built the website, but like you can now report these. So whenever you see vehicles over or under, you can now post them to the site. So I really want to boost this site and try to get more people onto it, because it'd be cool for just everyone to have a resource to know if you're at a good dealer. And I think it's genius. I can't believe, well, at least I can't believe that this is the first time I'm hearing of it, if it's new or what it is, but I'm super excited about it. I think it's pretty cool.
Wow. This is the next best thing to ratemyprofessors.com.
It might be the same guy. Oh, I remember that. That was great. Okay, so back on track here. Well, I guess that's kind of it for it, right? Like anything else other than
No, I mean, at this point, I'm trying to just document as I go. I'll probably, again, I'm not the person who would just keep haggling my dealership every week and say, hey, where's my order? I could, but I'm purposely just reserved, like, because I have 2 channels. So anytime I have news, I'll basically try to make that news, relevant on my next video and just keep going. But yeah, it's like, sorry, my Alexa's going off.
No worries. My dog was barking earlier. We got special guests.
No, good thing my daughter didn't insert one in there. Sometimes she'll say something silly. But yeah, I mean, like, I'll have a video every month until I get the vehicle, and that'll be the day where I'll probably like just start pumping it out pretty much every week. Like all the new stuff I'm gonna learn from the vehicle, right? And I feel like I'm kind of excited about it, because I do like gear reviews on my other channel, so I feel like I have the interesting like passion in that, and then to bring a vehicle on top of that, I think I can give some like unique perspective for people. So yeah, that's kind of
awesome. Do you see some of these videos, like you're probably going to have crossover, or you're going to try to keep it strictly on your second channel?
Yeah, it's interesting that you ask, because when I first started this channel, I had no idea, right? I was trying to do what everybody else does, because everybody has like their main channel and they have a vlog channel. So I named it Save Vlogs, and then I quickly found out later some other dude has the same channel name. So I took out the S and then Save Vlog, and then I just made one video of F-150, and it just took off, right? And I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, there's something here, because my other channel, we're having all the like camera gear, they're kind of down on views, because one, they're out of stock, and 2, people are just not feeling it these days, because post-pandemic. Whereas in this other topic, F-150 Lightning,
EVs
or EV in general, it's just like, oh my goodness, I was so amazed by how many people search for that. And then I just kept making a couple of videos, and my third one, I'm like, okay, I'm just soaring on views at this point. Like, I don't think I'm gonna do this vlog thing anymore on this channel. So I think I'm just gonna make that channel like basically
Like an EV
F-150
Lightning. Yeah.
or if that doesn't happen for some reason, um, I'll just keep ordering the next electric truck okay, over and over again until I get one.
That's kind of that's where I'm at right now. Cause I mean, who knows where I'll end up getting, and I'll just, I'll hang on to my vehicle until someday I'm.
Yeah, but you're just like super in already. Like you niche down pretty fast already because you have a Tesla Model Y, right? Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah, and then you're super into like e-bikes, like you're
I'm an electric boy. Yeah. What about you? Do you is it just the Lightning you're drawn to? Do you got like electric skateboards or anything fun like that?
No, I should be. I mean, most YouTubers
I was gonna say most of the film
group, they all ride like one wheel,
like the Maddie and Peter McKinnon and all those guys. Yeah.
They all have electric skateboards and sponsored by Storyblocks, but no, I don't have those two. So it's interesting. Like I'm going almost all into something that I'm not even familiar with, in a sense that I'm very familiar with F-150. In fact, like I'll notice like all the parts they're reusing on the Lightning. It's amazing. They're literally taking every single part that's possible from the other F-150, and they're just like, here's an electric motor and a battery. So I'm glad that I'm familiar with that. That's why I kind of want F-150 Lightning more so than like Chevy Silverado. It's very, very different. It's cool. And I did pre-order one. I think you did too, right?
Just in case.
Did you? Yeah, everybody did.
It's everyone who went through it.
And then when Ram
everyone who
comes out,
already went through the Lightning just drama, they're like, just in case, let's all get a Silverado.
Yeah, because we all know that how rare it is. And if you don't get into that window, I was kind of late on Chevy just because I kind of saw my F-150 Lightning risk in like some of these dealer experience and stuff. So I'm like, all right, let me just put one in. So I was like probably like towards the end part of the pre-order. But yeah, you better do it now than like 2 years later. You know?
You said something that I think is kind of interesting, at least for my audience anyways. I feel like most of the people, well, it's a good even split of just like EV heads and truck guys, and you're coming more from the truck guys, and there's this subset of truck guys who are very strict and like mad about people who like have trucks and don't use it like for their job or whatever it is, like strictly, but they also like refuse to understand that trucks are very like helpful and practical. Even like you probably use it in your filming career like a ton, right? Like, do you want to speak to that, or could you? Like, you've obviously had trucks forever. Like, how does it help you in a non like construction or the typical truck guy fields? Like, people don't. I mean, I'm speaking in a very overarching, assumption here, but a lot of these guys, they're I don't know. I'm trying to not be mean, but okay,
no,
cool.
I totally get it. Totally get it. And I think that's what's cool about the F-150 Lightning, because I see a lot of people who are not truck guys interested in it, right? Because it's such a cool vehicle. Yeah, and I'm probably in the middle. So I got my first truck because I was kayaking, and I got so tired of lifting my kayak above my head after kayaking for like 15 miles against current and putting it on top of the car. It's all like dripping in salt water, my car getting rusted. And the next guy, he rolls around, he just, puts it on his bed, like, he just latch it a couple times, and the kid just goes. I'm like, okay, I need a truck. So that's how I started. But once you experience like how spacious it is, and I have kids, so like just being able to like throw stuff in the bed without like cleaning it off, it's just such a good utility vehicle that's so underestimated as a regular family vehicle, I think. So I'm coming from that background, and I love going to like I live somewhat near the beach, and I love going to the beach, like just bring all the kids' toys. I even brought my outdoor couch, right?
Nice.
So I just pull up off road on the truck and put the outdoor couch like on sand, like running from the beach. We barbecue. I brought woods, So it's one of those things like I think I use it enough that it's being used. Like some people, if they never touch the bed, maybe they need an SUV instead. But there's so many utilization usage cases out there. I feel like even if you're not like towing anything or doing something like super heavy duty, it's a great vehicle for like a lot of the things that we do.
I couldn't agree more. That was really well put. It's just like, it really like, it just works. And you summed it up with, I think everyone who has kids could just immediately justify owning a truck. Like,
oh my goodness.
You have two, you said?
Larry, I used to pop the tailgate and change my babies in the back. And they would, I kid you not to gross people out. One time it just like really bad blowout. And I'm like, it's cool. Like,
hose it off when you get,
just rinse it out later. Like, how awesome is that, you know?
You have two kids, you said? Awesome.
I have two, yeah. So I have a 8-year-old and a 5-year-old. They'll forever be babies in my head, but
sure.
Yeah, they're growing up fast.
Yeah, I'm still a rookie dad. I've only got a 1 and 3 month. Yeah, I think just had 3 months. So yeah, barely
wow.
dad. But
how are you awake right now, man?
Well, it's because I just spent a week in Florida actually, and the grandparents were watching the babies. So yeah, we're coming back fully rested, just beach days and hanging out by the pool. So yeah, that's how.
Yeah, I saw you had a Ford Mustang that you were driving around.
You know what? I might talk about that for a second, because I kept saying I was going to do a video, and I never ended up filming one down there, but I really liked it. I think it's a really cool car. Have you ever drove one?
Yeah, it was a convertible, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That's my new move.
No, I always wanted to rent that car. Whenever I go on business trip, obviously I wouldn't use the company money to rent a convertible, but I was just gonna use my own money to like just get that car and drive around, because it's such I love convertibles. And then I had kids, and I was like,
that car is the least practical vehicle in the world, but on a vacation where you're just hanging out with you and the wife, it's the best car in the world. It drives really well. It's just quick enough to be a little bit fun. It wasn't like a 5.0 or any like the Super or GT or anything like that. It was just a I don't know, decently. I didn't even dig into what kind of engine it had or anything, but just, you're right, man. A convertible. I've never been in I've been in a convertible, but I've never drove one, I don't think. So it was awesome. And it gives me Jeep and Bronco fever, actually. Those are sounding pretty appealing right now. Nice. I could see me, I keep talking about how I'm so tempted to sell my Tesla just because they keep raising the price. So like my used one keeps going up in value, and I'm like, this is like the best or like savings account I've ever had, is just buying a Tesla.
Oh, dude, it's a entirely different world, right? And that's one of the things that I kind of am stuck getting an F-150 Lightning is I sold my last F-150 before trading it in, because I wasn't driving much, right? We're kind of on lockdown at that time. And I was just checking online and seeing how much it is. Like, I almost sold it at the same price that I bought it for, right? Now, I think I had some people kind of raise question on my channel. Like, they didn't like that I sold it at that price, but I didn't have any.
Like, what do you mean?
In it,
like,
in the sense
that you charge too much?
So there are some people who think that we're kind of giving into the system to make it worse. I mean, I kind of understand it a little bit, but it's one of those things. I would have sold it then or now. I mean, like if I sell it now, trading it in, I think I would have gotten about the same thing, because like it was one of the last V8 with the 6-speed transmission. So some people really like that, the old school people. So that's one, and the color. And this is the part where I don't drive my truck like a truck. I wash my truck like every month really well. I wax it. Not that actually makes the truck value higher when you sell it, but the person who's looking at it for like 5 minutes and just like looking, in his head, like he's gonna market as like one of the perfectly conditioned truck. So yeah, I was able to sell it pretty high.
Yeah.
But you're right, like it's kind of hard to like not pay attention to that when you see your Model Y going like, oh my goodness, like it didn't lose any value. At
the
what
opposite.
point, if you wait too long, like are you gonna lose on that, right? So it's not that we're giving into the system and making it worse. I think it's really personal. Like it's like, well, my family needs to buy a next vehicle. Am I going to trade it in? Yeah, I'm not going to keep it.
I think it's one thing to be like capitalizing on it and you're like buying vehicles just to do that, or you keep buying and selling and buying and selling. But in the sake where like we're literally lining up to buy a new vehicle, you have to get rid of your vehicle, and you're just supposed to not sell it for what it's worth. Like that's just, I mean, I get it too. Like I've been yelled at in the comments for markups and all of that stuff. I don't want to talk about that too much, but I don't know. But one thing we can do is stuff like that website I just said. There's an actual way where we could do something about it. But as far as just
I think people are tired of that, right? The super raise. I mean, can you imagine like 5-6 years ago thinking like, oh, I'm going to pay MSRP? Like that is like the thing that you look forward to.
Yeah, right.
I mean, like it doesn't make any sense.
You would say you got ripped off
like,
if you
what
paid
is this
that.
For? I wish I could like travel back in time and tell my past self like, yo, you're getting a good deal. It was like $6,000 below MSRP. Like, what does that even mean?
Right. Oh man, how good did we have it 5 years ago?
I know, right? Oh my goodness.
But yeah, it's a hard pickle to be in, and then because like you said, like will it go down in value tomorrow, and then I just lost out on like an invisible like couple $1,000s or something. So here's why I bring it up is, now that I got Jeep fever, I've been looking at a couple like used Jeeps that I might be able to just or the 4-door ones, not the fun, cool ones, but like the limited or the X or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, I saw that in the auto show.
Yeah, so they're like used. I could get for like 10 or 15K, which isn't too crazy. So I could just grab that for the summer until the Lightning comes in, and then I don't know. I think that's the new plan. I think it might be fun. We'll see though. See, because then you get the drop down all summer. I don't know. We'll see.
Have you checked out the new? They're pretty much hybrid, right? So the hybrid Jeeps.
Oh, I love them. Yeah, the 4xEs.
Yeah. Clever name. I love that name too. Because I mean, like Jeeps always. I always looked at those too because I know I'd be like really awesome at the beach. But again, like past Jeeps, they've always been like. Kind of bad in gas mileage, right?
Yeah.
So it looks cool. It's like a toy almost, but like gas mileage is horrible. I mean, I think that's the other reason why a lot of people are kind of leaning towards EV. I mean, it's hard to ignore the gas price and what we really have to pay in the future. And it was amazing how F-150 got really good at the mileage. I mean, like my V8, it was rated at 21 miles per gallon. I could that's another thing I want to try to push my Lightning too. It's like if I'm like really efficient at driving it, like I would get like 23.
Really? So you're an efficiency guy.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I know how to glide. I mean, like.
Gotcha. You're coasting behind semis.
Don't like it too much, but.
Right.
Safely, I do it safely, but I mean, like it was one of those things. Like I was kind of interesting how much can you push a vehicle to be efficient. Because like EPA, there's somewhat, it's conservative, but at the same time, it depends on the person driving it. Like, what are you carrying? Like, it's so many things. It'd be really interesting. I think it'll be a pretty cool video to make on how far can you make your
I can't wait
standard range battery Lightning go.
I would love to see that.
Is it a little bit more?
I would love to see that. That'd be great. Because, where you just try to do like hyper mile as hard as you can, like just every efficiency thing you could do.
It'd be like a little challenge.
That'd be really cool.
Kind of hard to like have a backup plan if you run out of battery, but
you know what? You just put a generator in the back of the car. And then you could plug it in and then charge 2 miles or whatever via the generator and then make it to a supercharger and you're good to go.
I saw some startup have something like that coming. So
no, like a real generator. You just use a real generator.
So it's like a small compact EV, like basically, if you get stuck, gives you like 5 more miles or something.
That's actually cool.
There's a lot of startup trying to make that, because I think you're gonna see a lot of people just pull the wind aside, just running out of battery. I feel like, because they're just not used to it.
Well,
I see some Tesla like all the time.
Me today, I made it to my parking lot with 4%, I think. With
oh my goodness,
with my
dude.
wife, just like the whole time, like, are you sure we're gonna make it? And I'm like, we got this. Because on the Tesla, you only know you're in trouble when there's like a banner that comes up that's like, stay under 70 miles per hour to get home. So as long as that doesn't come up,
Wow.
you're gonna get home just fine. And I'm bad. I'm like you're like the efficient driver, how most people should be. I'm the ruin your battery because I drive so like I don't want to say fast or anything, but like it's like part of the EV fun is like being able to get up to speed so quick. Like I'm addicted to that feeling of just zooming. It's like, oh, I love it. I love it so much.
I funny you mentioned that, because I just rode on the F-150 Lightning. Hopefully I'm releasing this video like tomorrow.
Cool. Yeah. Will you tell me about it?
I've never,
Yeah. Will you tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah. So I never, and I'm glad. I was afraid that I was gonna get in like my friend's EV and like basically pop my cherry of EV like early before F-150. But I was so glad my first ever EV was basically on an F-150
That's
Lightning
awesome.
at an auto show in Philadelphia. And again, I've seen it on YouTube all the time, right? And I'm expecting that in my head. Is so different in person. I mean, you remember the first time you rode an EV and someone floored it for
Permanent
you?
grin.
Or yourself?
Yeah. Permanent grin.
Oh my goodness, dude. I'm so glad I brought my camera, because I couldn't do that over, like I couldn't even stage it if I had to. Like it was just like literally like, what is this thing, so you're right. If I actually get the vehicle and I drive it, I don't know if I'm gonna be efficiency guy anymore, because just the sheer acceleration and just like the feeling of like, oh, this is gonna just rocket ship off with this thing. Like it's just so awesome.
Yeah.
And then of course my kids probably gonna be like, Daddy, go fast.
Right.
I'd be like, all right, it would be cool, Dad,
I love it. Yeah, it's funny. I always said, like, you have different profiles. I need like a certain profile for when Emma's in the car, just to not go past certain speeds. And no, I'm relatively safe. My only downfall when it comes to driving is I'm terrible with GPS directions. I always am like, no, that's wrong, and then I'll miss the turn and just yeah, my wife hates it, but other than that, I'm an okay driver.
No, I mean, it depends on what GPS you use. If you use Apple Maps, like, yeah, you should feel that way.
Totally. Yeah, the Tesla one, I don't know what it is about my area, but it is sometimes just terrible. Even though it uses Google, it's just like, I don't know. That's a whole other topic to talk about. There's just so many tiny little finicky things on the Tesla that just drive me nuts like that. Like one thing, like this, I think it like reads speed limit signs, and then it won't let you use your, like, what's it called? Autopilot at a speed more than 10 miles an hour, more than what it thinks the speed limit is. So for instance, there's this, it's called 131 here in Grand Rapids. It's like, it goes from 65 and it changes throughout all the way to 75, but it's mostly 75 miles per hour. And there's this chunk of road that it thinks it's 55, and I can never use the auto drive. Sometimes I can if I drive before. It's just little things like that. They're add up, and it's like it's trying to be smart, but it's ruining my day.
I feel like Tesla is way ahead of the game on that one, to a point where just even with that much margin of error and what you're talking about, I feel like it's just 2 years ahead of anyone else. I know Ford's trying really hard. But I feel like in terms of UI and just like their software, they got some catch up to do. So I can't even imagine like owning a that seems so futuristic to me. Even I just ordered F-150 Lightning. It's just like, I feel like I'm getting the technology just right for this day and age.
And
whereas in Tesla, I feel like it's up
and
there.
it's overkill, honestly. Like I was obsessed with it this whole time, and now that I have it, I basically turn all that stuff off. I'm a very unique, and I already am envisioning the comments right now because the hardcore Tesla guys are mad whenever I bring this up because I don't know, everyone else likes it but me, I guess. But I don't know. I think the XLT and like the you got the base or like the mid package on it. Like I think that's perfect.
I got the cheapest thing you can get after the Pro.
Okay, because the Pro is sold out.
I mean, it was, and then also, it's such a huge price gap. I mean, this is like a known fact now, right? Like, just to go from like XLT and just like extended range battery XLT, it was just like,
insane!
What?
Psychotic.
Where's anything in between that?
Psychotic.
Or even like Pro to like XLT, even like I feel like Pro price was purely just driven by the Cybertruck announcement, right? Yeah. And they were trying to match that hard, and so did Chevy. And now that like I don't know what's gonna happen with Cybertruck. So if Cybertruck comes out and say, actually, our entry level is 50,000, everyone's gonna probably have to follow that. But yeah, I feel like my goal was literally like it's one of those things where I wasn't really getting it for me only, yes, but I wanted to get it for the documentation part of it. And yeah, to do that and just kind of make this my business vehicle. I felt like 55,000-ish was like the comfort level for me to be able to like do that. I don't know. Even though I drove a Lariat, my last truck was a Lariat. Even then I was like, man, this truck is like it's too nice. Like I feel bad like dirtying it. So I like to be able to like just use it for little, rough trucky things here and there, and not be able to worry about like, oh, my leather seat,
I feel you're right on with that. Yeah. Like that's not a crazy assumption. Like I think we're on the same page because I'm ready to have. Like I want some of like the things that I'm used to. Like honestly, all I need is Apple CarPlay. Like in reality, that's all anyone really needs, and cruise control, and then something fun and zippy. So that's something I've learned, and all this to say, I think a cool exercise that we can maybe do to kind of wrap this up here might be guessing what you think the starting price of every trim will be for next year's Lightning.
Oh, wow.
So let's start with the Pro.
I actually thought of that because I'm thinking to myself, everyone is raising prices. Yeah. Ford themselves raising prices. I don't know, Larry, how would you like to play this? This will be
Let's start with the Pro. Like you mean like as a game?
Like, I don't know. Like, so you're asking me how much do I think Pro is going to cost for 2023 model?
Yeah, we'll just say the base 40K one. What do we think Ford will do up next year?
It's going to go, I think, at least by $3 to $4 grand.
I think that's what my guess is too.
That vehicle doesn't make sense. Like, I think they're almost like maybe breaking even, or possibly they're not making that much profit on that vehicle. I mean, like all the tech that's in there, it's on XLT, but it's almost like what 12,000 more for the next level. So it's almost like I'm thinking to myself like that is a forced price point. They just can't keep up.
Yeah.
So I would say 4,000 to 5,000 at least.
And that would still be a pretty solid deal, honestly, if they do that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think.
Yeah, and I don't think they can go up more than that because they don't want to tread on that water where it'll
the Rivian
make people kind of.
Yeah, they don't want to pull a Rivian.
Yeah. Oh no, that just backfired on them
right.
Big time. Yeah.
So I do agree with that 100%. However, the one thing I think they could do if they do end up raising prices, and I wouldn't be surprised to see this, is like making it like a $50,000 vehicle, but ditching the standard battery. I could maybe see that. And then they kind of like justify it. Like, I don't know. That would still probably make people upset, like for sure, but at least you're getting something out of it, I think. Or at least that's like the nice thing for them to do. Like at least give the people something if you do raise the price. But I don't know. We'll see. I think you're probably right. Just like 44 sounds pretty good.
Yeah, and I think the battery, the standard range battery, I feel like also is forced in there to kind of keep that price point. Ideal world, I think, is the extended battery, especially now that it's announced as 320. It's pretty
great.
decent. That's practical. A little expensive, but that's what vehicle really needs. I feel like 230, it's like borderline, like it's on the low side for that vehicle because it's meant to do trucky things.
That's where it falls.
You start putting on stuff, you're gonna lose that fast. Like I don't know if you've seen like TFL trucks when they did that test with Rivian. And then the range was, when they loaded up, the range was reading like 110. That would like it would, and that's a pretty, those batteries are actually bigger. So imagine like getting on your truck and you put something on your trailer and all of a sudden it's reading like 80.
Exactly.
That's your like fully charged. Like, where are you gonna go?
I know.
80,
I know. Yeah, it's like people.
So yeah, I think give them about like where they refresh like every 3 years.
Yeah,
or
I think
something.
next one's
like maybe in 3 years you won't see standard range capacity.
Sure. It just
anymore.
seems more cost effective to me too. Is like they don't have to have two different versions. They could just make one platform too, right? Like if I were Ford, that I don't know. What do I know? I obviously don't know how to run a $1 billion car corporation, but okay.
No, you have some good guesses.
Good guesses.
I mean, like we kind of live and breathe this
Yeah,
stuff.
that's true.
I mean, like Larry, like how many videos and articles have we read about F-150 Lightning to a point where when you show up in a dealership, they're like, "You're a geek."
Oh yeah, it's like I know more than all of you. And I can never say that either. It's just like I always have to like hint around it, like, did you like? That's how I start all my emails with my dealer. It's like, did you hear that this happened? It's just so I can ask about it, because otherwise I feel like you said, like it's weird being like, hey, I heard that. I don't know, whatever. I'm rambling. XLT starting at what, 52 right now.
The one I bought.
The base one. This is the hardest one to guess at.
I think it is, because I think they can't go up too much, Larry, because you still don't have a good mid-range Lightning that's affordable for most people, right? So if you raise too much of that base price XLT, and I'm assuming Pro is not going to be their main bread and butter, therefore they're not going to make that many, then I don't think you can raise, again, more than a couple $1,000s for XLT just to kind of resolve that sticker shock. I think the only time they can really raise it quite a bit is if they refresh it.
Exactly.
Right? I don't think they're going to change much for next year, right? You might get maybe one more color, maybe, or, one more decal that's different. Who knows, right? Maybe a new tailgate. Ford did patent that cool looking like halfway opening like Ram tailgate thing. So maybe that's already in development. It's so easy for Ford to just like slap it on, because like the bed is exactly same as all the other F-150s. So whenever the other F-150 get it, they could technically just kind of refresh that too.
I think you're right.
So yeah, we'll see.
And then I could also see a world, because you have a great point. Like they really don't have that like perfect priced vehicle, right? Like the XLT is a decent price. Like that's what I was hoping to pay, like under 60 ideally. And then now I've somehow talked myself into paying what, like 80K or something for a truck of just stuff I don't need. But it'd be cool if they, again, it's like the same thing. If they just don't charge 10K for that like package in the XLT, like I forget that what's in it right now, like the upgraded tires that look like the Lariat, a couple tech things. Like if they could just like maybe lower that and then like make one XLT. I think I don't know. All in all, I think the move is, because the way they did pricing structures, there's 9 total variations of all the Lightnings you could get. So if they stick with that, it could end up helping us with just like making a good sweet spot at all these, where they raise the price a little bit, but like you don't have to get everything. Like you don't have to spend the 10K to get a $65,000 XLT. Like no, thank you. No one wants that.
Yeah. No, I think if they listen to the customer's reaction, I think that one more kind of mid-price point XLT is kind of needed, because the the extended range XLT almost doesn't make sense when you're like right below Lariat, and Lariat it becomes like almost like, I hate to say it, but it's the best value in a sense that like you look at everything, you're like, how is the best value?
I know, man.
I feel like you need the best value point in XLT to get people. But you and I both know that Ford has no problem getting people to buy these things.
True.
So I don't even know that it's at their best interest, other than to keep customers happy, to have that price point. Like they could just only sell like Lariat and they'll be fine for the next 3 years.
You have a great point.
So it's tricky.
Yeah. So I'll with that, I'll for our last little exercise, we'll just group the Lariat and Premium or Platinum in, because honestly, those ones I see kind of staying the same price. I don't know if they could really charge more. The only one they could squeeze a little more out is probably the base Lariat, which is like 67, I think. Which for some reason seems like the best deal for me, because I don't want to spend more than 80K or whatever. I don't know. Who knows? But hopefully those ones stay the same, because they're already too expensive. Don't raise it, Ford, please.
No, I think you'll see less price point raise on like top of the line, because they're so already up there. It's like, do you really want to push 6 figures on a truck? I mean, yes, you can, but remember, this is like F-150, like we're talking about. So that's the DNA that's carrying. I don't know if they want that DNA to like, it's so weird. It's bleeding over to like the Raptor territory, right? This truck that seemed like, I was doing calculation for my video, and I'm looking at just pure performance difference between Lightning extended range battery and like a Raptor. It's like, wow, like where does Ford stand with their performance vehicle now? F-150, Raptor, Lightning. Like I saw some of the concept vehicles that you came up with, like Tremor, Lightning, like all these things are potentially in the horizon sometime. But like it's gonna be interesting how they're gonna distinguish performance line versus like just regular day vehicle.
Could you imagine like Lightning. A quad motor Lightning though? Oh baby.
Oh my goodness,
that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Probably, and but I just remembered though, Tesla just raised all theirs like 10K or something, or they're planning to over the next year or so. So even their top end ones. Yeah. So I guess anything could happen. Like honestly, I'm bracing myself for the worst just in case.
Yeah, but I feel like Tesla buyers are pretty content with. They understand that's like the next, ecological process almost. Whereas I think the Rivian was the most shocking one, because it was like you're like changing mid-purchasing experience, right? F-150 Lightning, I think they still have a chance to raise it a little bit without getting too much backlash, because it is the next year model. So I think it's all about like how they time it. Like my dealership literally said, hey, I'll give it to you MSRP, but at MSRP. But Ford can raise that still. Yeah. Right? So they even said, hey, it's possible, even though I think it's the same 2022 model. So you never know, Larry. I mean, this is a strange world we live in.
At the same time, I hate that we never know, but it gives me a subtle purpose. Like I wouldn't have a YouTube channel if I couldn't just guess at what Ford's going to do. So I guess I'm kind of grateful for the dark clouds.
More YouTube videos too. Yeah.
Man, I just had a thought on that, but I totally am blanking. Anyway, I think that's a sign. Maybe we should wrap it up. I want your opinion on this. Would you think these make more sense longer? I'm trying to keep them YouTube friendly, but at the same time, like I feel like I could just chat for hours. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I think. Well, I've been in a couple podcasts and live YouTube live streams and all that. I think
it's good.
Is like a good length. Anything that's like hour and a half. I mean, that's really long. It's hard for someone to like resume later also, right? So I think personally, but you know what, Larry? This is your channel, your podcast.
See, I'm trying to like scam you for ideas.
That is the freedom of YouTube and these content creation. Like, I have a phrase on my other channel that goes, once you go YouTube, you don't want to work for another dude. And it's just, it comes with the territory. It's so much freedom and awesome to create. Like all the contents that you want, and you know, obviously we tailor to our audience as best as we can, but it's up to you, man. Whatever you feel like doing, do it.
Well, I think an hour sounds good, but I say that because I feel like I could chat with you for hours. So I want to say thank you again for coming on. And before I leave, anything, I mean, I'd say, would you want to plug or whatever? But obviously, I mean, do people even do that anymore? It's all going to be in the description. You know how to type into Google and find Say here. So, but please, anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
No, I just want to say, Larry, you're doing a fantastic job, and I appreciate you so much, because I found your channel is so very helpful in the beginning of my ordering, and you being so informative in this field. I want to plug you, actually. So yeah, like,
you're too kind.
Up,
I'm
man.
blushing over here. Oh man. All right, well, this has been awesome. I hope we could stay in touch. You're an awesome guy, and thank you guys for watching. We'll end this here, so I'll see you guys. Bye.
All right.